Bourbon Barkeep, welcome back. A little dyslexia.
Yeah.
Curtis,
Noah, great to be here yet again, man.
welcome back. We have our March Madness in flight.
Yes.
We can't call this round 2, but this is the other conference of the March Madness brackets.
Yes, this is bracket 2 of 4, if you will. Last week, Jim Beam, rousing success. Great tournament they put out last week.
Yeah, almost had a Cinderella.
Yeah.
Won't spoil it.
We won't spoil it. This week, Buffalo Trace. Looking
Buffalo
forward
Trace.
to it.
The only reason why this is bracket 2 and not bracket 1 or 4 is alphabetical order. So obviously we're doing Buffalo Trace. These guys are owned by Sazerac Company now. These guys started in 1773 and the first distillery started in 1812.
What'd they do for like 40 years?
I think they just drank.
Oh.
So these guys are distilled in Frankfort, Kentucky. They actually had 2 previous names. The first distillery name was actually the Old Fashioned Copper Distillery, named by Edmund H. Taylor.
Kind of long.
Doesn't roll off the lips.
Yeah, it's not super easy to remember nor say, so I would go over 2 in terms of what qualifies as a good name. But
yeah,
second name,
and
maybe
then,
a little better?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Just maybe. Kind of like the name being too long, Edmund sold it after 8 years to George Stagg.
Ah.
And then George, being the humble man himself, named it George T. Stagg Distillery. And then Sazerac, when they bought it, they actually changed it from George T. Stagg Distillery to what we now know as Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Gotcha.
One of the most overhyped and overpriced distilleries out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have much of an argument for that, especially with the pricing. Man, their shit's expensive. It really is.
It's really good for the price, and I can't find it for the price is the problem.
Right. Yeah, the MSRPs are a facade, it seems like, especially with the Buffalo Trace Distillery. But
yeah,
that's not the purpose of tonight.
So, Buffalo Trace, the piece of trivia that I know that you know, so I don't put you on the spot.
Okay.
Please tell us what a Buffalo Trace is.
So a Buffalo Trace, if I'm not mistaken, a trace, the word trace is a synonym for the word trail. So as we all know, buffaloes migrate.
Everybody knows that.
Or the Great Migration, is that buffaloes?
It is now.
So anyway, yeah, it's basically another name for a buffalo trail. Like buffaloes will walk obviously in a line, and after they come through, there's, basically a dirt trail. All the grass is dead. So that's what a buffalo trace actually is. Interesting. Yeah, I took 1,000 words to say a 10-word meaning, but that's fine.
So the Buffalo Trail was right by the now named Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Yeah, Frankfurt.
So that's where I guess Sazerac was like, hey, let's do that.
Yeah, tip of the cap to the old Buffalo.
Yeah. And last but not least, we'll give credit to where credit's due. The master distiller is Harlan Wheatley. He's been distiller since 2005.
A long little tenure for what's his name? Harlan?
Harlan, yeah.
Harlan, okay, cool.
Harlan Wheatley, good-looking guy, wears a vest really well.
And when you have that, that title, that honor for close to 20 years now, you're good at what you do.
Absolutely. So getting to the bottles, how we actually chose these bottles, we tried to keep them findable, which I think is a little laughable for the Buffalo Trace, but ultimately we're not doing CYPB and Pappy and stuff like that. So all of these are going to be under $85 MSRP.
Yeah. And I can speak to, we saw this today for less than $80. So, I mean, take that for what it is. I haven't seen that for under 85 in a little bit, but you have.
I picked this up for 77.
Yeah, you have.
So a little above. So they did qualify. And then we also are sticking to under a certain proof. So the Elijah Craig barrel proofs, the Larceny barrel proofs, all of those did not make it. I think our line was 115.
115.
How we actually determine a winner, because we score differently. We may have different palates. We may have different moods. We're going to average those. So we're not taking bang for the buck into consideration, whether that helps or hurts. I haven't figured that out yet.
Sure.
But ultimately, we're going to average our 2 scores blindly. I can't remember how we did it.
Yeah, blindly out of 100. May the best man win. There's no bias, as you guys can see. These are completely blind. There's labeled on the bottom, so we're able to check after the fact.
Yeah, you'll throw up a key as we kind of taste, but we're not going Blantons to Colonel.
Correct.
So just to hit on a couple of, well, I guess all the bottle. I'm not leaving out anybody. But I'm going to go from established first to most recent.
Okay.
Curious if you know this order. You don't have to guess.
The hands on the Eagle, so I think that was probably established first.
Ooh. No, no, it is Eagle.
Yeah.
All right, so Eagle was first introduced in 1975. This is mash bill 1. No one knows what that means, but we have an idea that it's under 10% rye. Mm-hmm. We did throw in both mash bills, so I'm kind of proud of us for that.
Sure.
This is a 10-year, 90 proof. Used to be 101 proof. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I did not know that. They took away the 101, made it 90 in 2005, and that was pre-me drinking. So sorry for aging myself. MSRP for this is $40.
Okay.
Take that for what it is.
Okay.
All right, number 2.
Uh-huh.
It's Blanton.
Yeah, see, that's what that was going to be my guess.
Blanton's is mash bill number 2, and that's thought to be somewhere between 12 and 15% rye. So still pretty low,
Sure.
but
A little spicier.
2 mash bills.
Yeah.
This is the first single barrel ever made, according to Buffalo Trace, Blanton's. So this was named after Colonel Albert B. Blanton, and do you actually know who made it?
Colonel Albert.
No, it was made for Albert. Elmer T. Lee.
Okay.
Just throwing out big time names.
Sure, man. Yeah.
Big time
Keep them
names.
coming.
So when this was actually for like his private stash, he actually had this in barrels. So like when like big time celebrity rock stars, mainly politicians, would come over, they would drink what now is called Blanton's.
Interesting. Elmer T. Lee.
Blanton's is going to be our 93 proof, thought to be, what do we have here, 6 to 9 years old.
Okay. Kind of a wide range, but I'll let that pass.
You never know.
Yeah.
And then MSRP on this is
60?
65.
Okay.
Who's next?
I'm going to go Colonel. Damn it.
Yes.
50-50 shot.
Buffalo Trace, mash bill 1, also thought to be under 10% rye.
Okay.
So same idea, mash
Sure.
bill 1. This one thought to be between 8 and 10 years. Buffalo Trace website says at least 8.
Okay.
MSRP is $30.
If that. For a fifth, yeah. If that.
Still one of the best deals in all of whiskey.
Yeah. Agree. $27.99 is what I see that for every time at my local liquor store, Tipsy's. Shout out Tipsy's. $27.99 without fail.
There you go.
Could be storming, could be snowing, be a beautiful day. It's $27.99.
Man, their mood is right
They're
and true.
Yeah, they're even kiltered for sure.
I respect that.
Yeah.
So these guys were established in 1999. That's when Buffalo Trace was released.
Okay, cool.
Since 2011, Sazerac continues to bottle E.H. Taylor. Beam actually owned it for a time. Shout out Jim Beam.
No kidding, Jimothy.
Totally. Jim Beam just has his hands,
all
man.
the spider web really intertwined for sure.
Has his
the
hands.
whiskey world.
So Colonel E.H. Taylor's the guy credited for the Bottle and Bond Act.
Okay.
So a lot of whiskey distributors probably worship that man.
Of course, yeah.
This is also mash bill 1, 100 proof since it's bottle and bond. Thought to be 7 to 8 years old. MSRP, $40.
$40.
$40.
Just not a thing.
You're just not going to find it. I don't care.
No. Okay. Cool.
That's it.
All right. So now that the information, if you will, is behind us, get a drink in your hand, man. We go left to right as we usually do. As I said previously, these are all shuffled up, so they're not in this order that you see visible in front of you now. We have no clue what we're starting with. But as I said, we start with our left. So let's do it.
Left hand.
Left hand. While we take a moment, like and subscribe if you would. I did want to make sure to throw that in there. We're
getting
relatively new, so yeah, we're getting better at it. We're relatively new, so we're trying to keep this ball rolling. So if you do think we're in any way, shape, or form 1% entertaining,
And even if you have pity.
yeah,
That's
that
fine.
could be too. I'm fine with that.
That's fine.
That's fine with that.
Yeah.
All right.
If we ever hit 1,000, you can unsubscribe that.
That's a deal. That's
Yeah.
a deal. All right.
Whew. This one, I mean, I do get the cherry,
Yeah.
so I'm going to say that on probably every one of them. I feel like I don't know if we need to or not. I do have a nice mint to this one.
I get that. It's kind of like almost like a kind of a Listerine type of smell, like a mouthwash type of smell, but in a good way, like a really fresh.
Yeah, like I feel like I could have this on a date and feel fine talking closely to my date.
Sure. I think she would appreciate that too.
Yeah, I may go maybe some citrus on the nose, maybe like some lemon oil. I wouldn't go like
A little
lemon pulp.
a spritz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overall, I mean, it's just kind of a refreshing nose almost.
It's, yeah. Yeah, it's that continued cherry.
Yeah. Continued cherry. Oak shows up finally.
The finish is, it's thin and quick. But, I mean,
Yeah.
when you have, 3 different 90 proofs, I guess we have a 93 proof as well, but like you expect it to kind of be thin and quick when you're dealing with kind of something that light.
I will say the lightness, I agree on the finish. Not light on the tongue, though. Like, I do think it actually coats the tongue well.
Gives you a little prickle too.
But ultimately, it really doesn't even hit the punching bag, if you will.
Sure.
It's fine. Like I said, I get predominant oak and honey. That's about it. I would say it's pretty simple. Like, I wish I could give more, and at least first sip,
It's pretty straightforward. I don't know if I get the honey on first sip at least, but I will say I hope, and not to, make any predictions because we have learned that we're not in that business, but I hope this is Buffalo Trace. I'm hoping that this is a $28 bottle. It's nice and refreshing.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot to it.
It's interesting, like, when you kind of chew it, if you will, it almost brings out some of the bitter oak or charred barrel to where it kind of changes from that kind of nice, light, refreshing to...
Like a dark and brooding.
Yeah, like a Twilight Robert Pattinson.
Sure, like you're kind of bent over a whiskey glass alone in a bar. There's like 90s rock playing. Yeah.
Something like that.
Anyway, all right.
Glass 2.
On to glass 2 here. Do we cheers all of them?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
That would be exhausting for everybody. I might go maple. I mean, this one's really low on the nose too. I would have a tough time even going cherry to kind of knowing we're at Buffalo.
It's definitely heavier.
I'm going to stick with kind of my citrus feel to where I'm going to go a little more orange on this one. And with the lightness of it, I'm tempted to go honey, some caramel. Like, it definitely sticks to a lighter sweetness tasting profile. Maybe a little more nut, like some almond maybe, like a bland nut.
Wow. That's very, very smooth.
Yeah, she's here and then she's gone. You're just...
Yeah, the finish is still kind of...
Why?
Yeah, the finish is still a little light in the sense that, it doesn't hang around in any way at all.
Yeah, I'm curious on the revisit because the bitter that I got, if I never got that, I would be leaning glass A over glass B, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Like, this one feels a bit more simple. Like, I haven't even given a tasting note outside of feel. I mean, I would still kind of stick with kind of like a walnut, if you will. Maybe it's because I smelled the orange. I still kind of get that refreshing orange, which is kind of nice. Some vanilla in there rather than the caramel. Yeah, it's just kind of... This is cleaner. I'll give it that. Like, there's not any type of bitterness after that second sip, which is nice. Like I said, on that next walkthrough that we do, will definitely be the tiebreaker between that 1 and 2 at least.
Sure. All right, to number 3.
This one is very orange.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Like, overpowering creamsicle right now.
Yeah, there's a little vanilla too. I'm with
Yeah.
you on that.
I really like this nose. This is head and shoulders nose above glass 1 and 2 so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah. Yep. More of that.
That finish is much better.
That's nice. A lot more oak. The creamsicle continues. A little bit more cherry. I like that. This one tingles the tongue a little bit more. It lets me know it's there.
Yeah.
So I would say less refreshing, but man, that creamsicle is good.
There's a lot of creamsicle on the nose. I get quite a bit of oak,
Yeah.
especially towards the end.
Yep.
All right, to glass 4. Ooh,
Yeah, you like that one?
this is like a butterscotch.
Talk about a big fella.
This is like a butterscotch for sure.
Yeah.
I love how I say butterscotch and you say talk about it as if I can expand on that flavor.
Well, I mean, where are you when you had the butterscotch? Is your shirt on?
See, it's funny. The earliest memory I have of butterscotch, I don't know if anybody's, I'm sure Estes Park is a very popular destination.
I can't wait for this.
But the only time I've been to Estes Park was when I was like 5. So this was like 2001. And it was kind of like pre-Estes Park. Like, I mean, it was popular, but it hadn't really blown up yet. And they had this like taffy store where they had the giant taffy machine in the window.
Like saltwater.
Yeah, and they were making saltwater butterscotch taffy. So I had butterscotch like for the first time in Estes Park that day, and this has brought me back for sure, 2001.
Those are always nice when, the pour just brings you somewhere.
Sure.
Sometimes it's in a weird basement, and sometimes it's on a beach. So this one, I'm at butterscotch all the way through on the nose, almost tough to pick anything else up. Almost like a damp oak on the palate with...
Wow. There's quite a bit of bitterness on the end. Bitterness.
This one went for it.
Bitterness. There's quite a bit of bitterness on the end for sure. I don't know if I love that. Everything else is awesome, but yeah, that bitter finish kind of took me by surprise.
The nose exceeds the sip one to where this one is much more meaty than anything else we've had so far. To where you're getting into leather, tobacco, damp oak. It's kind of like, do you want to go earth dampness, which I do enjoy a lot of the time.
This is a great, like, not to cut you off, this is kind of a great rainy day bourbon.
Kind of.
Like, this is a great kind of window open, maybe a hard sprinkle outside, enough to hear it. Got a movie on the tube.
You want to, like, feel how the grass feels as
Sure.
it rains.
But not actually be wet. Yeah.
No,
I'm
yeah,
with
no
you.
one wants to, like, sit in the cold rain unless you're having a tough time. And if you are, leave a comment, please.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in agreement. The butterscotch on the nose.
Yeah.
Kind of that wet oak, complicated palate, which
Yeah.
the palate itself kind of blows the other three out of the water.
Yeah, the
in terms of
complexity.
complexity, yeah.
Well, the complexity is odd because you just went from what I feel like we've categorized as pretty straightforward to pretty complex, which this revisit's going to be wild.
Yeah. So speaking of revisit, so last week we kind of tried this out to where we walk through our first taste, give our notes, our initial thoughts, and then we go through a second time. I'll speed it up so you don't have to sit through that. We kind of gather our thoughts, our final thoughts, if you will, and then make our decisions as far as grading goes.
Yeah.
So we'll do that now. Be right back. Did our second tasting, as we said, got our scores, averaged those scores together. So without further ado, let's just get into it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
As we discussed, I'll pour these bottles relatively similar in terms of MSRP, except maybe Buffalo Trace. Similar proofs, similar ages. Without further ado, we'll start with fourth place.
Let's do it.
Fourth place with a average score of 65, which lands right in the pleasurable category, so a solid pour. Nothing to write home about, but nothing that I would be crazy upset spending $40, $50 on either. That is glass 1.
Okay. You want me to tell you?
Tell me.
Buffalo Trace.
Thank God.
This one felt sharper. To where, at least glass 2, once again, don't know what it is yet, it felt more well-rounded.
Sure.
This one had a sharpness, more like a nail polish remover. Just is what it is.
Sure.
But for $30, the bang for the buck would have helped Buffalo Trace.
Of course.
Yeah.
Greatly considering under $30. Like, that's about as cheap as it gets in terms of drinkable bourbons. Okay. Third place with a average score of 68.5, which is still in that pleasurable 60 to 69 category. However, it's more pleasurable.
Okay.
Even more so. That is going to be glass 2. I'll tell you this time. And this is our Blantons. Slightly disappointing. I think we knew that though. It's just become so overhyped.
I tell you what, it's tough because if you took out some of the fanfare around Blanton's, it's just not that much better than Buffalo Trace.
It's not. I think I liked it a
fine.
touch more than you, but yeah, it's not near like good enough to have the standing that it does in the bourbon world.
Yeah, if we went off of MSRP, Blanton's may have finished last.
Easily.
Just based off of...
Easily.
I mean, you're
Buffalo
talking...
Trace gets a giant bump up due to $28.
All of them do.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
All right. So we have fourth and third place uncovered. Since we just have our first and second place left, we'll just skip to first. Because if we unveil second, we'd know first anyway. So with first place in the Buffalo Trace region, moving into the Final Four, which is going to be filmed the first week in April.
Yep.
We have Glass 4 with an average score of 76.5.
E.H. Taylor.
Colonel E.H. Taylor.
There's some meat on it.
It's truly kind of remarkable how they have the complexity and the depth that it has at 100 proof.
Yeah. I feel like I was a little lower on Buffalo Trace than what I scored Beam. I don't know if it was kind of being jaded toward Buffalo Trace or if I do like Beam. Like I like that kind of nutty, almost candy bar profile to where this goes cherry, even though we really didn't pull out a ton of cherry.
No, it's more like orange.
Well, it's citrus, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm shocked by my result, but that Blanton's is
The letdown.
it's just a bottle. Like
It's let down.
I'm at that point to where for 75 or 65,
I'm gonna
if you're
buy
collecting
one.
it, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy one for $70 if I see it for $70. But the store's asking for $130 for blends. I'm gonna scoff. I'm gonna shake my head in disgust and dismay.
I have a tough time passing up on it to trade it for
Yeah,
something else.
If you can find a sucker that'll trade you a really nice bottle for blends, then by all means. Without further ado, man, congrats to Glass 4, Colonel E.H. Taylor. Moving on to the Final Four. It's in Kansas City. We're not relocating for the Final Four as the NCAA does, but
no, our show budget is
it's this, yeah. But yeah, this is competing against the other 3 winners of our 4 total regions.
Yeah.
And we're going to put those 4 head to head.
So we have Heaven Hill coming up, and we have the Cinderellas coming up, which I'm very excited.
Cinderella's going to be fun for sure. But cool, man. Cheers to the winner.
That was
to
fun.
the Colonel, to you guys. Thanks for being here. Please, as we said earlier, like and subscribe. Keep coming back. It's been a fun ride so far. So, see you, man.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see.
Cheers.